Hi everyone. I'm going to talk about what I would tell my 20-year-old self. I'm 59 years old now, and I've learned a lot of things in my life, and from the time I was 20 till now. It's almost 30 years, and the big 6-0 is coming up. And I think back to the 20-year-old girl that I was, and I had been married for 2 years, and although we didn't have children until I was 28, I was 30 for my second. I wouldn't have done that any different. I think I needed to mature in those years, and I had really come to want a baby so bad. I knew I wanted one, and when I was pregnant with my first daughter, I was just over the moon, and same with my second. And I was at a point in my life where my husband and I had bought our first home already, and we were, pretty settled, and I was ready to be a stay-at-home mom with my 2 kids. Talked to my husband about it, and we had both agreed that we wanted to be home with my daughters and raise them. And so I was fortunate enough to do that. So if I were to go back and talk to my 20-year-old self, I would tell her that that's the right thing to do, because I'm so grateful that I got to spend those formative years with my children, and those were the most precious years of my life. And I look back now and, oh God, I'd give anything to hold my little babies in my arms again, but they're beautiful women now, and they're married, and they have, one of them has a son of her own. When I look back at 20-year-olds, when I was 20, God, we didn't have half the things that we have today as far as technology and stuff like that. My guilty pleasure of the day was to watch General Hospital. That was the soap opera on, and it's still on today. And but when I think back about my 20-year-old self, I remember thinking that women in their 30s and 40s and 50s were so much wiser than me, and they knew so much more. I feel inside, it's almost like I'm wiser, but I still have that 20-year-old girl inside of me who feels a lot of the same things and has a lot of I was a pretty independent kid. I didn't follow a lot of my friends, what they were doing. I think the wisdom in my 20-year-old head back then told me that I need to follow my own, walk to my own drummer, and I did, and I'm so glad I did. Another thing I'd tell my 20-year-old self is, don't let anybody ever tell you that you're not good enough to do anything, or you're not smart enough, because you can make your life anything you want it to be. All you have to do is have an idea in your head, and the knowledge that everything you need is right within yourself. You can't get it from outside. You can't get it from someone telling you that, you're good. It takes something inside your gut and the drive and determination to be what you want to be who you want to be. You don't just wait and, let life mold you into, wherever it takes you. You have to grab the bull by the horns and decide what you want to be and work towards that goal, whether it be who you are, who you want to be, who you think others want you to be, is not a way to decide who you are going to be. You have to be who you want to be, not what you think others want you to be. You know what I mean? Because if you do that, you're never going to be happy, because you're never going to be fulfilling your dreams and what you want. And break the mold fast when you're 20. Don't do what is expected of you as far as being who you are. Be what you want to be, not what other people expect. Because I did that for a long time in my life. I tried to be what other people expected of me, and kind of like followed the personalities of people in my family. And I wasted so much time doing that that I was late developing my own real personality. I don't know, this might all seem weird to you, but they were just expected things and expected ways that your family expected you to turn out like. And if you were different than any one of them, they looked at you like, you know, who are you trying to be, or who? But I remember one thing that my dad said, you know, to me, and it will stick with me forever. You're no better than the bum on the street, and you're no less than the Queen of England. Because under God, we are all the same. And no one is better than anyone else because of material things. Or another thing I would tell my 20-year-old self is, don't be afraid to go after your dream. If something's holding you back in life, let it go, break loose of it, and follow your dream. Just look straight ahead and go for it. Whether it's landing that great job that you've always wanted, or just being the best friend that you know how to be. Helping people. Don't let anything hold you back, or any negative people hold you back from being the best that you can be inside. Another thing I would tell my 20-year-old self is, don't sweat the small stuff so much. Now's the time when you need to be enjoying life. Don't forget to stop and smell the roses. Don't look so far ahead to tomorrow that you don't enjoy today. Take care of your skin, because it will reward you later. Eat well and eat healthy, because later on it pays off. And I know that for a fact, because when I was in my 20s, I was into a health food kick, and it wasn't just a kick, it lasted me, you know, maybe 20 years. And I got to a point where I didn't want any sugar. I lost taste for sugar. I didn't have it, and I didn't miss it. And I was able to stay slim all my life. And I don't know if it's the sugar or just I inherited my dad's genes. But I think eating healthy helped me become the healthy person I am today. I would tell my 20-year-old self that there's going to be a few bumps along the road. And don't get so caught up in the muck that you can't move on. Wiggle your way through it, and it will all work out. It always does. And I would also tell my 20-year-old self that when you're in the depths of a depression or something you're working through in your life, and you think that it's never going to go away and you're just going to feel this way forever, You're not. This too shall pass, guys. And I know that from experience. It does get better. There comes a point where things can't get any worse. And they can only go up. So just remember that. When you're down and feeling bad, it can only last so long before things start going up. And yeah, life is not pretty. It's bumpy. And it's just the way life is. If it was easy, we wouldn't appreciate the highs. And if it was always happy, we'd be shocked when we saw the lows. We wouldn't know how to handle them. Well, I think we're given these challenges in life to mold us into the people that we become. And I used to always be afraid of menopause, and now that I've come through it, I look forward to the rest of my life. I think the best years are yet to come, because now I'm a grandmother, and this is the easy part. I get to hug my grandchild, and my daughter takes him home, but I get to see him every day. And she's doing a great job as a mother, and I'm so proud of her. And I know that my other daughter will have kids of her own too, and there's nothing better than being a grandmother. I always thought, oh, I don't want to be called Nana, I don't want to be a grandmother. It's wonderful. And when I was 20 years old, I couldn't imagine. I thought, when I'm a grandmother, I'm just going to be a shriveled up old prune, and, you know. But I'm glad I took care of myself then, so that I'm able now to chase around after my grandkids. And I would tell my 20-year-old self to be careful of people that pretend to be your friend. Don't trust in everything they say, and don't be too open with someone just because they're friendly to you. Friendship is a test, and I learned that the hard way. I trusted too many people, and I learned afterwards that my trusts were betrayed, and so life taught me that lesson. I'm not saying be skeptical of everyone, because that's not a way to live your life. But just keep your eye open and make sure people are your friends before you confide, because there are a lot of gossips out there. There are a lot of people that love it when you're down because they feel above you. Just be careful. I would also say to my 20-year-old self to spend some more time with my dad. My parents separated and divorced when I was about 11 years old. And it was a very bitter divorce, and unfortunately there were things said between my parents, and at that age I didn't understand that it was between my parents, not me, and I distanced myself from my dad because it's what my mother did. So I felt like if I was friendly to my dad, I was betraying my mom. And I know this is just so indicative of children of divorce. And I would tell myself, my 20-year-old self, to go visit my dad and let him know that I love him. And although I did see him over the years, it was always strained because I carried that guilt with me of not staying close to him. When I did try to get close to him as I was older, I didn't know how. He seemed like a stranger to me, and he reached out to me many times during my life, and things were so ingrained in my head that my mom had told me that it was like a mental block, that I wouldn't let those feelings in or out from my dad. So my dad's gone now, and I have so many regrets, and I would go back and tell my 20-year-old self to embrace this man who was always just wonderful to me growing up. And yeah, that's what I would tell her. I hope this helped a few people. This is coming from a 59-year-old woman, and I would love to be able to go back in time and tell my 20-year-old self a lot of things that I've learned during my lifetime. And would I do things the same way? Some things I would, and there are some things that I would not. Just be cognizant, you young girls, of what you're doing. Really think things through before you make a decision, because it can last a lifetime for you. Just keep yourself healthy, because it pays off when you get older. Bye, guys.